What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. And this isn't a theory video. This is more like a I don't know. I don't know what to really call this kind of video. I guess it's what I am scared about or are afraid for Godzilla vs Kong. If anything, the current trend in movies, especially movies that have some sort of a lineage to it with multiple sequels running or even prequels, you know, like the Avengers or Star Wars or the DC movies or the Star Trek movies, you know, all these franchises with several movies within their series. And now we come to Godzilla vs Kong, right? 2014 Godzilla was, I liked it. The only complaint that I had about that, which everybody had, was there just wasn't enough Godzilla. But, you know, the plot wasn't bad. The characters weren't bad. A lot of people liked Bryan Cranston's character, and I honestly think that's why the whole movie made any kind of money anyway. But I digress. The other characters, they weren't bad. They were kind of relatable. You know, being a military person, I could totally relate to Brody. But I just... 2014 was good, and it made a lot of money because of a very specific actor in it. I'm not going to say it made a lot of money because of the special effects, because hell, there was barely any special effects except for the last 15 minutes of the movie. And then we get Kong Skull Island, which was the movie that actually gave me hope and actually really made me hype for Godzilla King of the Monsters. But we have Kong Skull Island, which was a really good movie. All the actors in it, I freaking love all of them. They did a really good job. The biggest problem I had with Kong Skull Island was like, it didn't inform us anything. It didn't build the world up anymore. It built up Skull Island, but we already know Skull Island. We already know who Kong is. It built up Kong's character, kind of. Basically, Kong Skull Island was a really awesome setup movie. And the action scenes, like, I feel like they learned from their mistakes from 2014 with the action scenes in Kong, because Kong Skull Island, by far, I hate saying this, but by far is the best monster movie in the Monsterverse. It is by far the best. It's got the best action scenes. It's got the best acting, the better script. The editing doesn't... Oh my God. Anyway, so Kong Skull Island, it gave me hope, and I really liked that movie, even though I'm not a fan of Kong. Well, I'm a fan of Kong, but I'm not as big a fan as I am, you know, Godzilla and the other Toho monsters. And then we move on to Godzilla King of the Monsters. And, you know, I made a video when it first came out, and I was super excited because, you know, my boy got the Hollywood treatment. He looked cool. The monster designs were cool. Mothra looked cool. Rodan looked cool. Everything was cool about that movie. And then I went and saw it again. And when I walked out the movie theater, I literally asked myself and the person that was with me, why the hell did I pay for this again? Because after watching it the second time and getting over all of the spectacle of the movie, it was really bad. I can't even put it on the same level as an average Godzilla movie from either the Showa or the Heisei series. The plot development was terrible. We got next to no real information about the Monsterverse to really get us invested in these characters. The editing, oh my God. I could go on for hours about the editing in this movie. I mean, you can... I believe I was watching some other kaiju tubers like Altiori and some other people that... I hope I said that name right. I'm sorry, forgive me if I didn't. But some other people that reviewed the movie and stuff, and you know, one of the biggest complaints that I even have was the editing. The editing was absolutely horrendous. There is no reason for you to cut right, like, you know, like right as Godzilla's doing something, about to punch Ghidorah in the face, they cut to the humans, and then they cut to a scene with the radar showing the storm and all that. Leave it on the damn monsters. Like, this is what Kong Skull Island got right, and you completely threw that shit out the window. like completely. And I'm not necessarily blaming one person at this. I'm not pointing fingers at the director or the writers or anything. I'm the whole everybody on that team, on that staff. And yes, you too, Toho. I'm pointing fingers especially at you because I know how protective you are about this. How could you let this happen? How? And I honestly feel like Toho let it happen so that way Shin Godzilla would stay, you know, one of the best Godzilla movies ever made. And I'm not saying it is one of the best. I'm not saying it is the best, but it is certainly better than Godzilla King of the Monsters. I would rather watch Shin Godzilla multiple times than watch Godzilla King of the Monsters, because all of the stuff in that movie, everything that I was looking forward to, the background on the monsters, they didn't explain anything. They didn't explain where Mothra came from. We just saw her temple. They didn't explain what, like, Godzilla. They didn't explain anything. They didn't even reference the comic books. You know, Godzilla's dorsal spines were completely different in this movie, and they didn't tell us why. Like, I'm not saying that most of us didn't know why, because most of us hardcore Godzilla fans or kaiju fans in general, you know, knew about the comics, knew what happened, knew about the Jinshin Mushi blowing his backside off with her supersonic scream, however that happened. But they didn't even reference that. They didn't even say anything about that. And the main characters were there in the comic book. Emma Russell was there, and they just completely ignored it. They didn't even put it in, and I'm like, why? Because that would have made the world so much bigger. They would have referenced it, you know. They would have been like, yeah, this is Godzilla, and you know, we don't know what's going on, but we found those bones of Dagon, and you know, so we've been trying to learn and surmise DNA structures and stuff. Like, they didn't do any of that stuff. All they did was this really super fast, crappy script and the worst editing ever in a Godzilla movie. Like, honestly, the worst. I thought it was bad in 2014 when Godzilla was at the airport and he was about to fight the Hawk Muto, and then they cut to the news scenes and they show it from the news scenes point of view, and I was like, oh, what is that? Oh, it felt like a kick in the balls. But in Godzilla King of the Monsters, it was 20 times worse. It was so much worse. Like, you know, I like to think about when Ghidorah awakens, right, in the ice scene. And there is so much cutting back to the humans while he's getting up. Like, you know, some of the parts, I could totally see that being okay. Like when Barnes is like, you gotta be fucking kidding me. You know what I mean? Like that was okay. But Ghidorah goes down, he starts smelling the humans, whatever, and then they cut to a scene in the chopper. And then they cut back to him, and the humans start shooting at him, and he's getting ready to blow his, and then he gravity beams him, and then they cut back to the humans, and then they cut to this really shitty shot showing him finishing up his gravity beams. We didn't even get to see, like, the full-on power. I mean, it was like teasing a dog with a dog treat and being like, here you go, nope, and you pull it back from them, you know, like, here you go, nope, and then he gets mad and he's gonna snap at you. And this is, I guess this is me snapping. Like, I want to put this out there. This is gonna be the last time I critique this movie. I love the Monsterverse. I love the possibilities that they had to really develop a world in which Godzilla was more than just a radioactive mutation that rampage the world because people don't know how to think about shit and decided to nuke stuff. You know what I mean? Like, he could have been something so much more, and they could have developed this character, but instead they just rush us through this haphazard plot with all this crap. And I mean, it follows a traditional thing with Godzilla. It takes only a few days. That's cool, but I don't know. The editing was bad. The plot was bad. The actors did the best they could. They had some really good actors, and they did the best they could with the shit that they were given. And this ultimately felt like a fan film. Like, I could have made this. I could have made this at a lot cheaper of the cost. And I'm not even a professional movie maker yet. Like, I'm just, blew my mind. And so with that being said, moving into Godzilla vs Kong. First off, I'm already very upset with Godzilla vs Kong because with all the leaks that are coming out, and you know, the people that are leaking it are pretty freaking reliable. They've been spot on with every leak they've done so far. And I'm okay with the leaks. I'm okay with knowing this shit because I honestly, at this point, I really want to know what I'm about to spend my money on because it's expensive to go to the movie theaters. It really is now. And most people will be like, oh, it's just, you know, it's just a movie ticket. Dude, a movie ticket where I live is like 25 bucks now. And that's not including the drinks and everything else. So if I'm going to go out and spend the gas and the time and the effort to go see, I want to make sure I'm spending money because, you know, that $25 takes a couple of hours of work for me to earn. You know, I don't know about the rest of you. I don't know how much you guys make. Maybe you're millionaires or not, but I don't make that much. And so it literally cost me 2 hours of work to go see a movie. And so if I'm gonna do that, then I'm gonna, like, I want to know. I want to make sure my stuff is worth spending on. You know what I mean? And so with Godzilla vs Kong, the first thing that's really got me upset about it, and not, I'm just really nervous about it, is it's Godzilla vs Kong. That is the title, and we already know that they're not gonna, first off, Godzilla can't die because of what Toho said, even though I really think they should do something and maybe like bring him back or bring baby Godzilla back, something, but they're probably not because Toho's like, no, you can't kill Godzilla. And I guess I'm okay with this, but it's Godzilla versus Kong. And we already know it's not a Godzilla versus Kong movie. It's a Godzilla and versus Kong team up. It's fucking Batman versus Superman, the Dawn of Justice, all the fuck over again. And I'm just like, why? I don't understand. Like, if they would have done Godzilla vs Kong, they could have turned it into an epic. They would have only had to be dealing with 2 monsters. Yeah, you could have had the other kaiju or the titans in the background serving some sort of purpose to mess with the humans or whatever. But the majority of the movie would have been about Godzilla and Kong. And now we got Mechagodzilla, which is cool. I want to see what they're going to do. But it's not a Godzilla vs Kong movie. This should be called Godzilla meets Kong and defeats the bad guys. Like, it shouldn't be called Godzilla vs Kong because it's not a Godzilla vs Kong movie. It's not going to be a Godzilla vs Kong movie, and I'm already nervous about this. And after the hype that I brought to the table with Godzilla King of the Monsters and telling everybody and hyping it, I talked about it at work, I talked about it with my friends, I talked about it with everybody. And after all of that, it's colossal failure. God. I don't even think it broke even. And I know it didn't do what they wanted it to do as far as profits and stuff. And the other thing that really, and I swear Mike Daughtry must have known that this wasn't going to go over too well, because he and everybody else that was insistent on this movie, but more specifically him and like the producers and stuff, were like, go see this movie. Take your friends. If you want a sequel, it totally depends on if you're going to spend your money on this movie. And to be honest with you, I should have told everybody not to, because I'm really nervous about what they're going to do with Godzilla vs Kong. And then he's like, you know, if you want to trick or treat too, go watch this movie and take your friends. And I'm like, no, that equates to go spend money and tell your friends to spend money on it. And I'm just, that just blew my mind. Make a good fucking movie. Sorry, I'm swearing. Make a good fucking movie, and then I'll spend my movie or my money on it. And I totally fell for it like everybody else. I went to the movie. I saw it multiple times in the theater. And every time after the first, I regretted spending. I remember the third time and the fourth time going, I was like, let's just try. Maybe we'll see something. Maybe whatever. It just didn't. It didn't live up to the hype. I've honestly, even after it's come out on DVD and 4K, I still watch Godzilla movies from the Heisei series more than I watch that movie. I would rather watch Kong Skull Island more than I would rather watch Godzilla King of the Monsters, because of how disappointing it was. It was very disappointing. If I have to say anything good about it, and I'll try to leave it on a good note, was the designs were great. The special effects were good, but I wouldn't say great because we didn't get enough of them. And the sound was phenomenal. The soundtrack was phenomenal, and the sound effects were great, kind of. But outside of that, everything else was terrible. Everything else was terrible. Even the fight scenes. I'm gonna say it. Even the fight scenes. And you wanna know why? Because we only got to see maximum 5 seconds of Godzilla throwing Ghidorah's head into the ground before it cut away from the humans. Or another maximum of 5 seconds while Godzilla's throwing Ghidorah's head through the buildings and stuff. Or, you know, Ghidorah sucking the energy and blowing up everything, and it keeps cutting back to the humans, and I'm like, I don't give a fuck about these people. Like, next time, do what George Lucas did and hire actors that aren't famous. Because 1, they're gonna give it their all. 2, you won't have to spend so damn much money on it, like to hire actors to hope that the actors' fame will pull the movie through, because I honestly feel like that's what they tried to do, especially with the Chinese audience. Hire no-name actors. Look, Mark Hamill. He got hired. I don't know how many things he actually acted in before Star Wars, but after Star Wars, he became a household name, and everybody freaking loved him, and he treated the series like he was passionate about it. I feel like most of the people you got onto the film weren't passionate enough. Like, I don't know. There's so much stuff wrong with King of the Monsters, and it upsets me highly when people say it's one of the best Godzilla movies out there, because it's really not. It is really, really not. I don't know why or what really possessed me to make this video. I just wanted to express my concerns for Godzilla vs. Kong. Because with all the leaks and what we know and what we've been given, and if anything, using the past movies as, you know, as stepping stones moving into this movie, I'm just really scared. I'm really scared. I don't know what the director, I think his name's Adam Wingard. I don't know what he's directed. I don't know these people who are directly involved. You know, I know their names now, like Mike Daughtry. I know him because everybody was talking about him and all that. But before that, I never saw Trick or Treat. I never saw Krampus. I still haven't seen any of them. And I'm probably not, after what he did with my Godzilla movie. So, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know any of these people. I don't know the actors. I don't follow the actors. I follow Godzilla. And I want a damn good Godzilla story. And if you're going to bring someone like Kong in, who's also a big name in the kaiju world, then you better do something good. I don't want to see another craptacular movie like Godzilla King of the Monsters. I want you to do what you did with Kong Skull Island, but better. Fuck the humans. Who gives a shit about Apex? Who gives a shit about these humans that are trying to do stuff or whatever, causing problems? Like, there is more than enough material for Godzilla to go to Skull Island and fuck with Kong, for there to be enough story around that than to add all this extra human crap. Wow, this has gone on for way too long. I feel like I'm rambling now, but anyway, let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Are you nervous for Godzilla vs. Kong? Are you excited for it? Are you hyped up for it? Do you honestly think that there's going to be another MonsterVerse movie afterwards? Because I know everybody, at least on my subscribers, are going, I hope there's another MonsterVerse movie, but I'm pretty sure that this one is going to be the last, especially if there's any indication of what happened with Godzilla King of the Monsters. But that being said, thank you so much for watching. I might lose some subscribers for this, but if you like this video and you want to see more and see theory videos on MonsterVerse and Godzilla and future stuff that has to do with Godzilla, and hear awesome music that I make and whatnot, then subscribe, hit that like button, and leave a comment down below, as it really does help the channel to grow. And I will see you guys later. Long live the King.